You want to do? Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest TPB TV. It is a special episode today. We are doing a little Eagle schedule release, and we're gonna go through it and give you our thoughts on it. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Just recorded the episode with Mark Schofield. That should be up and on the channel right now. Give that a listen if you haven't. Very elite, top tier analysis.
Yep, yep.
Yes, sir. As you guys always know, it's the one and only Mark Quell for Bones. Man, as Boss said, QB1 in our mind, QB1 in our heart, and the greatest thing you could ever listen to. Like, Mark Schofield dropped off the analysis for you. We had a really good time talking to him, man. Great, always great to have him on. Can't wait to have him back. But today, we are here to discuss who our next victims are.
Sir, yes, sir.
The Eagles schedule got released yesterday, if you guys didn't know.
Yeah, we have it pictured right here on the screen also.
Yes, sir.
If you guys couldn't tell, the Eagles are about to dominate a whole lot of football teams.
Sir.
You can look at the schedule and see if this team does not start 4-0, 3-1, we riot Philadelphia. We grease the poles to climb up the pole. When you won a Super Bowl, we will burn the poles down if you aren't 3-1.
Yes.
This looks very ideal. Between the offseason in general and to where we are right now, this looks very ideal. The Eagles made a bunch of different splashes, whether it's the Jordan Davis acquisition, the Kobe Dean in the third round, going out and make the sign of the Hassan Reddick, trading for A.J. Brown. Bunch of different acquisitions at a bunch of different places to the point where you're actually looking at this football team as competent at this point, which a lot of people didn't do for some reason. I'm sure you, Parth, and I, we actually had a good representation of what this football team was last year heading into the season. Didn't expect too much, didn't expect too little. But this football team that we have in front of us right now has a chance to be one of the best in the NFC by the way the NFC is ranked right now. Of course, one of the weaker divisions in the league. But what's your guys' thought process on this?
Expectations
Yeah.
are sky high.
So for me, you just outlined it. This is the Eagles are clearly a better team than the one that took the field in Tampa Bay a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the schedule, I like the first 4 weeks, starting off with at Detroit versus Minnesota, Washington, Jacksonville. I think those are, won't say easy because no game is easy in the NFL, but they're games that how can I phrase it?
We should
They're
Little winnable.
winnable games. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
Definitely
agree.
a bunch of those.
Should we just dive into it and go game by game?
Yep, that's what we're
Yeah,
gonna
we
do.
can't. Yeah.
Let's
All
roll.
right.
Starting week 1 at Detroit. We on the road week 1. The Eagles do not start at Lincoln Financial Field for the first time in a couple years. Actually, I think the last time was when we
Was it
played at Washington. So we've
2017?
been, yeah, I'm about to say, we've been playing a bunch of home games since the season
Hmm.
started. I know because I've been
Hmm.
there for a couple of them. But how do you guys
Interesting.
feel about this?
Interesting. It seems like the stars are aligning. Beginning of the season doesn't start at home. The quarterback's second year as a starter just acquired a number one wide receiver. Hmm.
Mm.
Hmm. Hmm. Makes you think.
You're talking a little bit too much for the universe, Parth.
Listen, man. It's the universe speaking through me. I'm manifesting.
I
You know what I'm saying?
like
What you
that.
gotta that's what you gotta do, brother. Manifest.
Exactly. But yeah, week one we got the kneecap eaters. Um, I mean, I think they have a lot of potential, but I mean, last year was an ugly slugfest. I mean, it was a long game. They've added some talent. Obviously, you add Aiden Hutchinson at the top of the draft that changes your defense. The benefit of being week one is I don't think we'll have to play Jamison Williams. I don't think he'll
Yep.
be ready by that point. So you know that's a benefit to you. You know they still have some other receivers, but it's Jared Goff's lines at this point, and I think that makes it a winnable game for us. What about you guys?
Exactly. That's exactly the way I was gonna put it. You playing against Jared Goff. I mean, yeah. At first, when I first saw the schedule, I'm like, damn, the Lions, talented team, just had a really good draft. And I thought
Mhm.
there is no Jameson Williams yet. Who knows if Jeffrey Okuda's going to be healthy yet?
Yeah.
This is still probably the same football team from last year with a couple other pieces added. And I mean, don't get me wrong. How I viewed the Lions last year heading into a bunch of games is you can't take the Lions for granted. Granted, the Eagles beat the brakes off the Lions when we played them last year. But you can't take the Lions for granted. The Lions played a whole lot of really competent football and just couldn't figure it out in the second half, which makes sense for young football teams. That's what young football teams do.
Yep.
But they are also on their way. I don't think Jared Goff is the answer for them. I just think they're trying to figure out exactly who belongs on this football team for the long haul and how we going to get to the promised land. And getting to the promised land means disregarding the Jared Goff and getting someone who will actually lead you there. So, I mean, I feel like there's no reason why the Eagles shouldn't win this game. Granted, it's on the road. Not ideal to spend your first game on the road, but you're talking about a Lions team who they aren't world beaters now, for lack of a better term.
Yep, I would agree. You got anything to add, Pierre?
Yeah. So for me, I mean, you just outlined it, Quell. This is a winnable game. This is a game that they shouldn't lose. They are clearly a better team than the Detroit Lions. And last year, we saw they took the field against them. They beat them 44-6. Like, I'm not gonna say it shouldn't be competitive, but this is a very winnable game for the Eagles.
I must say, before we get to the next one, this is the Darius Slay return game. Darius Slay expected to
Part
have
2
a big game here. Yep, part 2. So, he played a lot of his years in Detroit. Always expected to have a good time. What was the place he said he got to go visit? Make sure you go get yourself some of that good food, Darius Slay, while you're en route to another touchdown.
Was it? I thought it was like a.
It was like wasn't it a barbecue chicken place?
It was like a chicken place, right? Yeah. I thought. Oh, I don't remember.
Well,
anyways,
whatever it was,
he'll be
sorry we couldn't get you no content here on TPB. But whenever we figure you out, we'll give you a shout out just strictly off Darius Slay having a good game because of you.
Right. Oh, yeah. He said he had a good game because he had that food. I remember now. All right. So then game 2, home opener. We got
Monday
Minnesota.
Night Football.
On ABC.
One of 2 games. I'm about to say one of 2 games. Is that supposed to be the thing all year long, or is this supposed to be 1 and 2 weeks 1 and 2? Like, what is going on?
I don't like.
From what I've seen, this is the only doubleheader. The 7:15, 8:30 start. This is the only doubleheader that I saw.
So it's not one of those in week 1 anymore.
I'm not sure. Let me.
It will. You know what?
Quick.
While Pierre makes that check, it will make sense why it's not. Because that was my whole big thing with it back in the day when it was the week 1 doubleheader. This is not basketball. Nobody is trying to stay up until 10:30 to watch a football team play that does not play on the West Coast. And even if you play it on the West Coast, we are not trying to stay up and see you play. That's not our cup of tea. So, kudos to the NFL if that's what's going on for figuring out we want to watch 2 East Coast teams and bunch 2 different games. But, yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I might be a sicko. I love just 2 games back to back. Just give me more football. Give me 6 hours of football.
There is nobody we're saying anything's wrong with 6 hours of football or the games back to back. What we're saying is we don't want to sit here and wait for the West Coast game to start at 10:30 when it's supposed to be at 7:30.
Yeah. No,
just give us football.
Totally. Yeah.
So having the game at 7:15, then having another game start at 8:30, that's cool. We can deal with that.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree with you. But yeah, so the Vikings, I think we win that game, and I think they're going through a little bit of a transition right now. They're trying to figure things out, but it's not a transition because they're also trying to win because they have Kirk Cousins. It's a very confusing team. It'll definitely be a test for our young secondary because if it's week 2, I'm assuming Thielen will be healthy as well as Jefferson. So that's a matchup to watch for our secondary, especially considering we don't know who our CB2 is going to be at this moment. But I think that in the end, I think we'll have enough firepower to overcome that. What about you guys?
Yeah. Also, just to interrupt a little bit, the week 1 is just 1 game. Denver at Seattle. The only doubleheader is week 2.
That makes sense. They try to give week 2 all the attention by itself. See, the NFL being smart now. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's not give them too much credit. No, but yeah. So what
But
do you guys think with Minnesota?
as you said about the Minnesota matchup, man, I mean, once again, another winnable matchup. As I said from the start, if you guys don't start 4-0, 3-1, we riot. This could possibly be one of those one losses. I don't possibly see that being as a loss. But I mean, let's not take this Minnesota team for granted. They have what I like to consider the best running back in football on their team. They have Justin Jefferson, who has been one of the top 5 receivers in football over the last 2 years. It's about time we start giving him his due this year. If you do that this year, then you guys can't say anything at that point. But yeah, what I like to consider a top 5 receiver in this league on their team, like this isn't a cakewalk. Granted, the defense isn't as stout as it used to be in this heyday, and you got a coach that's trying to implement everything going right heading into a second year. So it's not like it's going to be no guys that's going to roll over. At the same time, I mean, how I like to look at Minnesota is this is a team that's trying to bank that Rick Spielman and Kevin O'Connell are just better than their predecessors because they didn't have much turnaround. This is a lot of the same football team that they had last year and the year before that and the year before that. It's just banking on you got a better head coach now. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you could try. At the same time, I just don't see it with Kirk Cousins. Like I always said, like I said when he was in D.C., like I said once he moved to Minnesota, all you got to do is play the game, and you wait on him to mess up, for lack of a better term.
Mr. Midpack.
How often would it happen? That's on you, but you just wait on it to happen.
You hear me, Quell?
Midpack gang.
Just going off of what you said, it's Kirk Cousins in prime time. They're not winning this game, brother.
They're gonna be in Philly like Big Pack. Big Pack.
They can go do it at the Rocky Steps again.
Yeah. They try.
Oh my god, man. But yeah, that'll be an interesting game. I'll definitely be going to that on my
I'll say it'll be interesting to see Kevin O'Connell in week 2 on the road Monday Night Football to see how he has his team ready to play and see how prepared he has them.
On a side note, and I must say, I'm sorry. You guys know I love you guys like my mama birthed you guys. You guys are my real life brothers. In the same breath, I'm about to put y'all on the spot right here on TBT TV. Because as you guys know, P's and Q's was in the building when the Eagles played the Saints last season. And the Eagles got that dub. And we plan on keeping this TBT thing alive in terms of keeping us in the building and keeping getting victories. So we're looking at the schedule right now. If there's one game that you could say would be the game that TBT was in the building, what would y'all say?
For me, with the semester and everything, it'd have to be probably the January 1st New Orleans game, New Year's Day. I'm thinking.
Oh, New Orleans, the same team we were in the building for the first time.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, looking at it, yeah.
Let's turn New Orleans into a trend. Is that what we hear?
Right. Interesting.
New Year's Day with
mark
the
that
game.
one down.
We might have to mark that one. Yeah, I'm saying we might have to mark that one. New Year's Day with the game.
See how New Orleans is looking, but no, that'll be interesting for sure. But Minnesota should be a win. Hopefully we win because I have a friend who is a Kirk Cousins truther, and it sickens me. I have Vikings friends who know that Kirk Cousins sucks, and this man thinks he knows the best. Gonzalo, I'm talking about you. Kirk Cousins is not good, man. Mr. Midpack.
Dang, Gonzalo, he done name dropped you, bro. I don't think we ever name drop nobody on the
That means you'll have to listen to this episode.
On the pod. That's just
it's never happened.
Listen. You gotta like, you gotta comment, and subscribe. You cannot give us lower than 3 stars. I take 3 stars because you just talked about your quarterback. But you cannot give us more than 3 stars.
I know, man. I'll make sure he doesn't he doesn't tank us, right? But hey, but all publicity is good publicity, right?
Yeah, I'm saying. But now to the next one, we're coming down to my area, home of Quell, down to Washington D.C. It'd be nice if I can get all y'all down here for real, so I can show all y'all the city. But
Sounds great.
I'm not gonna
Washington gonna
lie.
be
I'm not gonna lie.
Monday Night
When
Football.
when I because last time I came to Philly, because my sister stays in DC, I came down to DC, but that's before we linked up. But
You know what I'm
um,
saying?
if we come to DC, I'll definitely slide.
Yeah, I'm about to say we can definitely make that one the one because I know
Yeah.
for a fact that I'm gonna be in the building in that game. I
Yeah.
know for a fact it's just about trying to get the brothers there. So y'all, whoever tuning in, whoever listen, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and make sure y'all, if y'all leave a comment, tell them to slide to the DC game. But got the Washington Commanders. They're not the football team anymore. I
I
almost
know.
said the football team.
Football team was
Week
very.
3 on the road, the Carson Wentz game, but on the road.
Yeah. What did
How y'all
Carson say,
feeling about
Pierre?
that?
I just had it. Let me pull it
We'll
up.
get all excited about these types of things. Shut
Yeah,
up,
he
bro.
said the
Shut up, Carson.
fans. It'll be something for the fans to get excited
Yeah.
about.
Yeah. It will be.
Oh,
I'm
I hope he
booing you
knows.
into oblivion,
I
buddy
hope he
boy.
knows. Because if anyone knows, like I know, this is home away from home. The way Eagles fans travel down here is like no other.
Oh, he's
I
done.
love going to football team games when the Eagles are in town because the Eagles fans just flood the stadium and it's just EAGLES
Yes.
Eagles, and you're like,
I'll
oh
be there,
man,
man. I'll be there to boo Carson.
okay.
Only to boo Carson because I think by the second game, Carson's not going to be starting. Sam Howell's taking that job. Mr. Chicken's taking the job, dude.
Mr.
Carson's
Chicken.
in shambles. So I got to go down and boo him while I still can.
How y'all feel about this matchup, man? Y'all feel like the Birds match up well against Washington?
Yeah.
I personally, I think they do. I think they do.
A healthy Washington team with Chase Young and everybody else you would like to consider back on the defense.
Yeah.
Last year, what week did they play them in Philly?
It
When
was
the
late,
game
but
kept getting
I'm pretty
postponed.
sure
Yeah,
Chase Young ain't
did
didn't play.
he wasn't playing?
And he was out with an ACL tear back then.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, Chase Young is obviously a great player, but we have some of the best tackles in the league, So if there's any solution to the Chase Young issue, it would be having bookend tackles like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Yeah, man, their
Yeah.
defense is 100% formidable. They add a little bit of talent on offense. They're doing what they can. I think the Eagles still win this though. I think our offense, as much as their defense might bring back guys, our offense now has a new guy like we just talked about on the last show, and I think
Yep.
I
And
think
that's
that
basically where you start.
that new
That's
dimension changes
where you
things.
start. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
And
like we
they
said about Washington, they did not have, like we said on the draft talk, my whole thing was William Jackson and Kendall Fuller are really good cornerbacks, but clearly from what we seen last year, neither of the two should or could fill the cornerback one role.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Eagles acquiring a guy like AJ Brown, the question becomes not who's going to tackle our running backs, but who's going to stop wide receiver one. So it looks like the Eagles have the leeway in that matchup.
And the thing is okay, fine. Somebody can we have two number ones. We have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Like both of them will be toasting cornerback twos. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how they're going to be able to deal with that. It's going to be crazy 1-2
and
punch, man.
and also keep in mind Washington did lose Brandon Scherf this offseason, so that's going to be an area the Eagles can exploit.
At the same time, speaking from a person that lives in the area that keeps track of the team, they lost Brandon Scherf, but it's not like the offensive line was ever terrible to begin with.
Yeah.
So they played pretty competent without Brandon Scherf. At the same time, just picture it like an Eagles team without Brandon Brooks. I mean, we're better with Brandon. We can play without Brandon, but we're a much better team with him. So something similar to that. So, I mean, hit or miss type of thing depends on how Jordan Davis and company look in the middle. But now we move down to
Dougie
the
P.
Philly Bowl. The Philly
Dougie
Special
P.
Bowl. Dougie P makes his return to Philadelphia. I cannot hold you. This was the game this is the game that first caught my eye before I realized that they played Monday Night Football in Washington. And I'm like, yo, I ain't going to hold you. I'm not going to two football games back to back, so I got to pick one of them. Yeah. But
wait, the Washington one is later in the year.
No, we play in Washington in week 3. in week 4.
Yeah, but
My bad. Week
but
3,
the
my
prime
bad.
time game is later in the year. I think.
Yeah. The Monday night. I could take the travel. I'm about to say, that's not me saying I'm not going to take the travel to Philly. This is me saying I don't know if they come down here, because I really wanted to see Doug when he made his return to Philly.
Mm-hmm.
But if they come down here the week before, I ain't going to hold you. I got to pick one or the other. I'm not going to both of them.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough.
But looking at this game, to me, it's another very winnable game. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they picked number 1 in back-to-back years in the NFL draft for a reason. This is not a formidable football team.
Yeah. It don't matter if you're talking offensive line, defensive line, receivers, all that. The Eagles are just a flat-out better football team than the Jaguars are. If they lose this game, it is strictly because they have emotions running higher than the Jaguars do. But by football standards, the Eagles have no reason to lose this game. It's just the Jaguars haven't quite reached it yet, basically, for lack of a better term. They aren't there.
And
what do we say? They aren't that guy.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars I don't know if they are yet, but they will be an ascending team. They have definitely infused a lot of talent, doing what they can. Some of the deals might not make the most sense, but I don't think Jacksonville, regardless of what I think of Doug and Trevor Lawrence or whoever, I don't think the Jaguars are going to be able to turn it around multiple years of losing by week 4. Maybe if the game was week 10, we'd be talking about the Jaguars as a slightly different team, someone that
All right, so hear me out, though. Hear me out. You say the deal ain't make sense. Quell, Q Black, whatever you want to call me, all that good stuff, I would not have did it. So
what trade are we talking about?
Take into account everything that I'm about to say with a grain of salt.
Which deal?
But if I'm the Jaguars, I signed Christian Kirk to that deal.
Oh.
You know why? Because you do nothing but hurt the rest of the division. You do nothing but look at Indianapolis and say, hey, nice year for Michael Pittman Jr. Sucks that you got to pay him soon, and say, what you going to do? If I'm Jacksonville, I look in the eye at a team like Tennessee and say, hey, nice wide receiver in A.J. Brown. Sucks you had to trade him to Philadelphia because you couldn't pay him because of what we did. If I'm Jacksonville, I'm looking at a team like, who's the last team that we had to say? Indianapolis, Tennessee?
Houston?
No, I said, Houston. And I'm looking at Houston like, I don't know what you're waiting for, but go ahead and trade Brandon Cooks. Because once it's time come, you ain't going to be able to pay that. Because we playing math, not we playing chess, not checkers.
That's one way to look at it. That's one way to look at it.
Way to look at it. So
that's a good way of looking at paying Christian.
If I'm the Jaguars, I'm looking at it like we just trying to get all the competition out of the division. Because we know we couldn't afford the way the football team is built right now to compete with the rest of you. But if you got to start getting rid of people, especially at the second most important position in football, where you can't compete with us there now we're on an even playing field. And how do you want to play? And the Jaguars literally just changed the playing field, the perspective of the entire NFL with that deal.
Yeah, but I
just
think
doing it to play chess and checkers in their deal.
You're giving the Jaguars the credit of thinking that they're not going to be able to pay anybody else. Because I mean, if you're trading, right, who do you think is better, Christian Kirk or Hollywood Brown?
I'm not even gonna hold you. Yes, I am giving the Jaguars that credit because the Jaguars was literally in a position a few years ago where they had 2 stud wide receivers with studs at the point, and Allen Hurns and Allen Robinson, and it was we gotta pay one, and they didn't pay. They paid Hurns, and it was the wrong one. So now you in turn you're gonna put the entire league in a position where I see we was in a position like this earlier. Well, let's see if we can use this to affect everybody that's around us.
But it's about the player you're paying for. Like I get it if you're paying.
But Christian Kirk don't suck.
He doesn't suck. But like, is he worth it to be one of the highest paid receivers in the league? Like,
is he worth it to be one of the highest paid receivers in the league? No, but is he worth it to say I'm willing to use this prospect right here to flip the market? Yeah. Because let's be real, if you look at all the receivers that was out there, Christian Kirk was going to be one of the highest paid receivers. So we're going to overpay him. Why not? And if we can use that overpay to flip the market, why not? Type of thing.
Yeah, interesting. I feel like they should
I
have
see what you're saying.
maybe tried to get somebody else and paid him. I don't know. It just feels like uh, it just I
It was
get what
just
you're saying.
it's just a position that they had to
Yeah,
address, and they knew
yeah.
they had to address,
They were
and they
stuck
had
in
a chance to change everything around them at the same time.
yeah.
Yeah. But looking at the next two games, at Arizona and versus Dallas, how you guys feeling about that? You know, with the Arizona game, you know, there's the suspension of DeAndre Hopkins, and then versus Dallas, you know, last year the Eagles did not fare too well against Dallas in both of the games.
Yeah.
You know,
We
in
placed
Dallas, they
backups in the second game.
yeah. But this year, Dallas or this offseason, they've lost a few key contributors to their team. So how do you guys think the Eagles will fare in those two games?
So just touching on Arizona first, so we're not looking ahead in the schedule or anything of nature, because I really want to touch on Dallas. But just touching on Arizona first, I mean, what's this? Week
Week
5.
5.
You're
Yeah.
a week before, and that's just assuming they didn't have a bye week yet. But you're a week before DeAndre Hopkins can return from his suspension, and that was literally the Achilles heel for Philadelphia last time, where you couldn't stop DeAndre Hopkins. They had a number one receiver, and you didn't. That's why we lost that game. Now it's kind of evil playing field. I mean, if you want to take that into account for Marquise Brown, I mean, if you want to call him a number one receiver, sure, yeah, you go ahead and go for it. But I feel like I like my chances better without DeAndre Hopkins, without James Conner, without Chase Edmonds, where you basically banking on young. Oh man, what is this kid's name? USC Keontae Ingram. You basically banking on young Keontae Ingram and Marquise Brown, who ain't quite a wide receiver one, but he could burn you deep and stuff like that. A
He
bunch
might
of
drop 3 touchdowns in the game though.
maybes. I mean, yeah, sure, with our luck, yeah, probably. But in the same
He was
breath, if
big
you
for
just
him.
looking at it, if you're looking at a team schedule and you see Eagles versus the Cardinals, and you know that DeAndre Hopkins not playing, I'm an Eagles fan, even with that game being in Arizona, I feel good. I feel good. Because, especially with this newfound pass rush that we got going on, you got somebody to get after Kyler. I'm not saying we're going to
And
get those sacks, but you got somebody to get after him.
and
He's not the best on the move.
and you got a linebacker you can use as a spy now with Kobe Dean.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And we haven't even gotten to N'Kobe yet, where how much he will be impactful for that defense. Where I say all the time, where I personally think TJ Edwards will get the start at the season at the Mike linebacker, but by the end of the season, that's going to be N'Kobe's job because N'Kobe's too young and too talented to not be starting at that position. And that isn't saying anything about TJ Edwards. It's just like I say all the time, having the ability to be a football team to turn a weakness into a strength. And they done turned Mike linebacker from a weakness into a strength. Having TJ Edwards and N'Kobe Dean in the middle of that defense, that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Helps tremendously.
Yeah. Only thing I would say about Arizona is I am interested to see how their defense is going to look. They, depending on how things go, they could have a very interesting defense. But hopefully, like you said, Quell, at that point we're 3-1 or 4-0. So the offense is kind of rolling and we can win a big one on the road there.
Oh no,
Um,
not on. Then we come back home, and I like to say that's the difference there. Last year, that first meeting in Dallas, Monday Night Football, that was in Dallas. I wish they would have come to Philly with that. You come to Philly, like honestly on some real? When was the last time Dallas actually came to Philly early in the season? We usually always play Dallas later in the year. We never get the early season game. So for us to get the early season game, Dallas versus Philly in Philly, yeah, okay. Because all I can think about is the last time we had Christmas Eve in Dallas. It didn't go well for y'all in Dallas. So again, just speaking in terms of the universe saying something specific, but it's looking pretty ideal for the Eagles to get that early season matchup versus Dallas in Philadelphia.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
I agree. It'll be nice to get Dallas at home early in the season, where like you said, Pierre, we're not just going to be or Quell. We're not just playing backups for the second half. Dallas lost a lot of key contributors, and they lost depth as
Mm-hmm.
well. I mean, they lost Amari Cooper, and then they lost Cedric Wilson as well. So,
Mm-hmm.
these are things that Dallas is going to have to adjust around. I mean, they still have Gallup and CD Lamb, but that's a big hit to your receiver room. Things are going to be looking different. They still have what's his name coaching the defense, Dan Campbell. So that always bodes well for them, but. I think the Eagles can pull out a victory in Dallas for sure. But after that, we get a early bye. I don't know.
Early bye. This how
I
y'all
don't I
feel
don't love
about
it.
that?
I
You
don't
don't
love it
love it?
personally.
I feel you because it's been a while since we got a bye this early.
Yeah, I would
And we
like
usually
a week
circle
10
like
bye
week
is what I like.
10, week 13. I think that's what our last two buys look like, week
Hmm
10 and week 13. But week 7, that's pretty. I mean, what you would like to call a midway point before the additional of the second game, but it's a really early bye week.
Yeah,
So it's a really early chance for the team to like burn out by the end of the season, for like a better
yeah, we
term.
got a lot of older players. I mean, not as many as years in the past, but older players at important positions. Like Lane and Jason. They value those bye weeks and in that rest. But the thing about Sirianni practices, I mean, Jason Kelsey himself said that if he was still playing for Doug, he probably would not be playing this year, or
Mm-hmm.
been maybe even playing last year because just the intensity of practice was a lot higher. With Sirianni, the vets kind of get their veteran days, but they still come out ready to play. So there's no issue with that in my mind at all. But it is
Definitely,
early for a bye. You
that's
know.
Yeah,
definitely something to
I
take
feel
into
like
account.
the sweet spot for the bye week would have been around week 10 or 11.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my ideal spot.
Yeah, but I don't hate it. I don't hate a week 7 bye. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
Yeah, yeah. So next we got Pittsburgh, the second round receiver gem finders.
So I guess my question for this Pittsburgh game, honestly, I
Nothing
ain't
for
gotta
that one
ask
though.
no
Come on.
question.
I said
There
I
is
said
there
gem
is no
finders for the
there
Steelers.
is there is nothing. No, there was nothing. Good luck next time.
I'll see myself out. See ya.
But for the Steelers, I mean, all I can think about in this matchup right here is what is the over under that Kenny Pickett is starting this game? Because we know the Eagles should win it, but who's going to be the quarterback they're playing against?
Hmm hmm
That's all I'm worried about looking at that.
I'll
It,
say this: if Kenny Pickett is starting this game, I give Pittsburgh a higher chance of winning it versus if Mitchell Trubisky is starting.
we're Mason.
Now. Let's not do Mitchell like that.
Why?
Let it be known. Let it be known. Like what the judges do? Let it be known that I am not a Mitch Trubisky supporter. I am not a fan of him. I don't think he's even good. In the same breath, all of this stuff came from somewhere. And I like to think what he learned over in Buffalo is at least competent compared to what he was doing in Chicago his
Yeah.
first go round. So you're talking about a quarterback who has been in the league for X amount of years, who's seen the whole process, with the progress of everything. If you're talking about talent, yeah, I'd probably take Kenny Pickett over Mitch Trubisky, and that's not even saying much. But if you're just talking in general, I don't know, man, because the way I see this Eagles defense playing this year, you gonna put that rookie quarterback in front of this defense, I feel bad for you. Mitch
Yeah.
Trubisky might not win this game, but he gonna understand what he's seeing. And
Yeah.
that's much more than you can say for a rookie quarterback at this point.
Yeah, totally. But regardless of who's at quarterback, I think the Eagles should win this game. Pittsburgh
Yeah,
is a team that has been in this like faux rebuild for a while. I mean, they kept trying to make it
teams
last
like
one
that
year
don't
longer.
rebuild. They
Yeah,
don't rebuild.
They
yeah,
haven't they
that's
haven't missed the
weird.
playoffs in I don't know how many
Exactly,
years.
Exactly. It's
exactly.
bizarre,
Teams
but
like that don't rebuild. They just
but
retool.
they're like just I guess rehauling whatever it is. They're going through a transition period for sure. I mean, they just got rid of a quarterback they've had since the early 2000s. So
I mean, yeah, sure, but they even made the playoffs or even had a competent
Yeah.
season without him.
yeah, I understand that, but I also think that things were just there was a different way that they did things. They lost a lot of guys. I mean, it's a different team now. This isn't the Steelers that dominated the 2010s. This is a completely different roster, and that's I get Pittsburgh is one of those teams that is consistently always good and just figures out a way to do it, and a lot of that is attributed to Mike Tomlin, but
Hmm.
with an influx of new players, especially at a position as important as quarterback. I get it. He did it with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges a couple years ago, but a lot of things went right for them, and they're gonna have like a lot more youth. You got Pickens, Claypool's a younger player. You got Deontay, who's taking
I'm
charge of that
just
room.
saying. I'm just saying. I mean, again, different head coach, all that other good stuff. Different. Well, not quite different. He didn't got there yet, but this is last year. So, in terms of the general manager, but different head coach. But all I'm saying is this is the same team that had Ben Roethlisberger in position to go 15-1 as a rookie. 15-1. So I mean, you can talk all the rookie quarterback stuff you want, but they do a really good job of putting their players in position to play and being ready to play. So I'm not really worried about the quarterback position. I'm just worried about everything going on around him. And in terms of what's going on around him, from what I can see, it's a competent defense. He got a competent receiving core, a decent tight end. It's just up to him to just not be an ass at this point, for lack of a better term. Sorry for my language, but as long as you can be competent, I ain't saying he gonna be Ben Roethlisberger and go 15-1. But if Kenny Pickett can get the start with this roster around him, I can see them pushing for a playoff spot.
Maybe. I think the league has also changed a lot since Ben Roethlisberger came in. I mean, the talent level, just baseline, is higher in
I
my.
mean, yeah, but you talking about a Pittsburgh team that did nothing but throw the ball around the field, and yeah, they had the
I
Bush
know, but
Jerome
that the league
Bettis,
wasn't the
but
league wasn't like that at that point. But the league is built for that at this point. The league is built to defend just throwing the ball over the field. When Ben Roethlisberger came in, this was something new. Like did it with Dan Marino a little bit, and you had certain quarterbacks they did it with, but these offenses where you're just
nah, you're
throwing
right.
the rock that much.
You're 100% correct. That's why I said it's hit or miss. At the same time, I don't think it's fair to just rule them out when, like I said, it's hit or miss. And the way that the league is headed, or the things that the league are prepared for now that they weren't prepared for before, we've been doing this stuff ages before y'all got prepared for it. Like, we've been doing this since 2005. So you can be prepared for it all you want, but we do this for a living. That's all I'm looking for. So I'm not saying again he's not gonna be 15-1. I don't think he's gonna do the same as Ben Roethlisberger's rookie season. At the same time, I think Pittsburgh is probably the perfect landing spot for him to be a competent player.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm not saying anything against Pickett there, but I just think that with the amount of youth and with Roethlisberger's rookie season, didn't they have like a crazy roster in place already?
They had a
Or
really good defense, and they had
and
Jerome Bettis and
Heinz Ward, right?
elite. Yeah, I'm about to say they had elite level wide receiver group.
You know what I
But
mean? Like and
what's
last
the
year
difference now? I guess is my
you have
question.
I mean
You
you have
don't
a
have an
rookie.
elite level running back, but they
Well,
got
Najee
quality
could be,
wide
but
receivers. They got an
your
elite
O
level
line is not nearly
defense.
as good, and Kenny
I
Pickett
wouldn't
struggled
say
with
that.
pressure.
I wouldn't
They have
say
like
that.
they're gonna have like two rookies on the O line. They're gonna have they have three players who've never played for the Steelers, and two of them are rookies starting on the O line. That's gonna be difficult for a rookie quarterback, especially one who struggled with pressure in college. Like I mean, he got hit a lot throughout
Are
college. So
those but are those guys tackles?
let me check.
If they aren't tackles, then I'm perfectly fine with that. We can protect the guys on the inside between the center and the tackle. We good.
Unless you're going against the Eagles with Javon Hargrave, Fletcher Cox, and Jordan Davis.
Even
You know what I
if you're
mean?
going against the Eagles, because if you're playing against the Eagles, you double A gapping. And double A gapping means we all up in your center face, not your guard or your tackle. So if you got a competent center, I mean, he gonna have a long day,
Who
but
is their
nobody
center?
else.
They just got rid of what's his name?
The center
Uh,
is Mason Cole.
Mason Cole's pretty ideal. He isn't the greatest. He ain't a world beater, but Mason Cole's good. I like Mason.
Yeah, but I don't know. I
I'm not
think
sold.
defensively, I think they could give the Eagles some problems.
Oh,
With their
I'm not.
front,
This is not me saying that they could beat the Eagles. I don't think they could beat the Eagles, but that's
yeah,
a decent football team.
yeah. I don't know. I think it could be one of those sneaky losses.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how I'm feeling.
Houston in Houston. Oh, you know we're gonna win that, right? That's QB1 in his hometown game, his
Jalen
first
Hurts.
game against his hometown team. Jalen
I
Hurts might
tweeted
throw for
it.
5 touchdowns in that game.
I tweeted it a couple months ago. I think Jalen Hurts' return in prime time in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
He's
my
putting on the show,
goodness.
bro. He putting on the show.
Oh my goodness.
It's gonna be a spiritual experience.
I hope,
Yeah,
man.
what he
Dylan in
said.
prime time though, that has not exactly been an ideal combination.
Yeah, Parth told me about that a long while back. Jalen in primetime isn't ideal, but we have never heard about Jalen in primetime in his hometown.
That's true.
So,
Just gotta
Jalen
put
going
on for
back
the H.
home. Yeah, Jalen
In
going
front of
back
his
home. He
family
gonna
and
see y'all a
friends.
show, y'all. I'm saying
I want it.
a show.
I want it, man.
All right, Week 10 versus Washington. Carson Wentz's return to Lincoln Financial Field.
This
There's no
game
way
is
the
gonna be
Eagles.
too much for somebody.
There's no way
I
the
don't
Eagles
know
are losing
who.
this game, right?
I don't know. This game is gonna be too much for somebody. It's either gonna be too much for us or too much for them. But Carson misses the start of this game. The emotion's gonna be running high. It's gonna be the first game back to Philly. Everybody gonna want to be proving that we don't need you. So we're gonna see how it goes. Now, granted, it depends on the type of ball that Washington is playing at that point. But Carson, of course, we're Eagles fans. We know Carson. We
Carson's
know
a folder. He's gonna fold.
superhuman. We know you want to play Superman when the game is not meant to be playing
Oh,
Superman, hero
he's
ball
he's
and stuff.
he's
So
definitely gonna give you a few. He's gonna give you at least one or two.
He's Bizarro. Do y'all know who Superman? He's basically evil Superman. He can't do anything right. His brain doesn't work right. He just tries to do everything Superman does, but he can't.
look,
You
I'm not
remember.
gonna let you assault Carson Wentz like that. He can do
Listen,
things right. He
You
can't do
remember? Wait,
things
hold on,
right
hold
when he
on, hold on,
tries too hard.
hold on. You remember the tweet I put it out? I think when the Colts were playing Jacksonville, and I was like, I think I said Carson Wentz when he needs to complete 10-yard pass for a first down. And you remember I think it was the monster playing the drums, and he's just like going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
That's Carson
Yeah.
Wentz in a nutshell.
Look,
he tried too hard against the Jags, man. I mean, all hope
exactly.
is lost,
Like I
brother.
said, when his mind is clicking a bit too much, it's not gonna go well. When he's just doing him, he'll be alright. Just
You gotta treat him like a
relax.
horse. Give him some horse blinders. Let him figure it out. Come on, buddy. It's his 6th year in the league, and he's making the same mistakes he did as a rookie. My brother, what are we doing here?
Sometimes that's on quarterbacks, though. I mean, it's easy to say what we're doing here, but
It's on quarterbacks, you said?
yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta understand what's going on around you, which is easier said than done. Sometimes, like we were saying earlier when we had the conversation with Mark in terms of muscle memory, where that pressure coming from this way and you know it's coming and you know you got X amount of seconds and you trying to just not fuck up, that's the easiest time to make a
Listen,
mistake.
man, all you got to do is just stop backhand pitching the ball. It's elementary school stuff. But
the thing
don't
with
just
Carson,
do this all the time. He's gotten away with
Carson
it
could
because he
do a
played
lot
at
of stuff.
NDSU.
No, but that's the thing. Carson's gotten away with it even with his time in Philadelphia, even a little bit.
It was limited, and then it caught up. But it caught up.
Yeah, it definitely caught up. It definitely caught up. But just because it caught up don't mean that you can't have a good. Like, I guess my whole thing looking at it is you can't predict luck just like I can't predict luck. Yeah. Nobody can predict luck. And Carson spent the first 3 years of his career being one of the most lucky quarterbacks in the league. He was, in terms of turnover-worthy plays, he ranked at or near the top of the league.
Top every year.
But that don't mean he was turning up all of it. He had 7 interceptions in 3 of his first 4 years. And then after that, it just went downhill. But he's shown he can be a safe. I guess you just don't know which Carson Wentz you're going to get.
I think that's the thing. That's the thing with him. You don't know which version of him you're gonna get,
and you can't predict luck. So if he keeps making these plays, I think Carson Wentz is incapable of balance. I don't think he has the ability to just balance it throughout the year. I don't think he can do it game in and game out. He might have some games where you're like, wow, this guy can do it. He's making the right decisions. But
I feel like
when the time comes, he can't do it, bro. There's a reason that he's at the top of all these plays,
You are 100% correct. I just feel like in terms of balance, that's subjective. I feel like Carson Wentz with a competent team around him. Like even if you look at Carson Wentz on the Colts last year, Carson Wentz had decent stats. Carson Wentz was a decent quarterback. Now, when you start getting into the nitty gritty and adding context, Carson Wentz made a bunch of mistakes in crunch time because in crunch time, but when his team down and all that extra stuff, again, as Eagles fans, we know this. That's when he starts to try to play hero ball. Carson Wentz will never be successful playing hero ball. If Carson Wentz can play on a team where all he has to do is play in the parameters of the scheme and the team around him, he could probably be a top 5 quarterback.
But that comes down to Carson as a person. And he's proven over and over. The Colts had a great situation last year. He had everything. He had the coach who told the league that I can reclaim this guy. This is my guy. He had better receivers than he had with the Eagles. He has this. He has a top offensive line.
That's also subjective.
He
had Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman, fine, but then he's got Jonathan Taylor, who is a better running back than anybody we had during his time with the Eagles.
He had more talent than he had with the
Eagles.
But that receiving core, I ain't gonna say that much.
Fine, yeah, but Michael Pittman is a very good receiver. I'm a fan of Michael Pittman. I think
Michael Pittman is really good. Probably better than anybody he had in Philadelphia. In the same breath,
that's my point.
You can compare Michael Pittman to Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You can't pair some of the other guys to some of the other guys.
I get that, and maybe we had a little bit more well-rounded offense, whatever it may be. But the point is wherever he's gone, he always tries to play this hero ball because it's just innately who he is. And until he can get past that and start trusting his teammates, it's gonna be his Achilles heel. Because the thing about those plays in the NFL is, when you make them, it's spectacular, and you're like, oh my god, how do you make that?
The defense is there, and they're really there.
It's not gonna work every time, and like you said, you have no way of controlling your luck. It'd be nice if he could be like, all right, let me just click the switch and the luck is on right now, and I'm gonna make these crazy plays, But unfortunately, you can't do that, and you don't know if he thinks this is the play. I just did it last week. Unfortunately, you don't know if that play is gonna cause a turnover this week.
So lost in the fray of everything. We done touched on Pittsburgh. We done touched on Houston and Washington and Carson's return and all that other stuff, but
Mr. Sirianni.
Yes. Not just Mr. Sirianni, but Frank Wright.
Yeah.
It's a two-way street. Yeah. Two-way street.
Yeah.
Do you think this is one of them
student
games
versus the teacher?
Was Moorhead in
No, he wasn't.
Moorhead.
No, he was here the whole time, right? We kept him.
Hold on. He might have been.
I thought he might have come before Sirianni.
I'm about to say he started. I think he played. He was in Indianapolis at a point.
That's what I thought because
we got him from Indianapolis.
No.
He was there at a point.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I had a feeling I was like, remember some connection with Moorhead, maybe. Could be totally off.
He played for the Colts.
Okay, that might have been.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So nice little homecoming for him too. Is there anybody else? Are there any other connections that we're missing?
Yeah,
Kevin Pasquale. Pascal. Kevin Pasquale. Yeah.
But basically, it's nice a little meet and greet for both the Eagles and the Colts in Indianapolis.
Oh, and Matt Ryan. He's not coming. I guess he's not coming to Philly, but he's a Philly area guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably feels something playing against the Birds, but
right.
Would you guys consider this a game that is basically, for lack of a better term, under the radar? Could be a sleeper game, one of them Jones the Eagles look past.
I think the Colts are going to be good.
Yeah, to me, I view this game in the same light as I view the Pittsburgh game. This could be another one of those sneaky losses for them.
Because Indianapolis isn't a bad team.
No. Their defense, they signed Gilmore. Their secondary is looking pretty good. They got
their defense. They got Rodney, who was here for what 5-6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
that yeah.
And what's his name? What's the linebacker? Totally forgetting his name.
Darius
Darius
Leonard.
Leonard.
Darius Leonard. Yeah, Darius Leonard holding down the center of the defense. And I think Matt Ryan is just gonna do what they kind of were hoping Carson could do last year, and just
Mm-hmm.
keep the engine of the offense running, and let Jonathan Taylor do his thing, and just get the ball to Pittman or whoever needs it, like when you can. I mean, T.Y. Hilton's still there, just injury
No,
prone.
he's a free agent.
He's still a free agent. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So,
I feel like they'll bring him back eventually, though.
yeah.
But
I feel like he's
before
just.
we touch on New York and Chicago, not New York, Chicago. I'm sorry, Green Bay, Tennessee. As we touch on Green Bay and Tennessee, I mean, of course, like I said, how do you guys feel about those games? But like I was just saying about the Indianapolis game, do you think these could be games that the Eagles look past in terms of looking forward to that 3-game road stretch that they got coming up?
Yeah, to me, I think this is going to be the toughest stretch of their season. Looking at Indianapolis, Green Bay, and Tennessee,
Mhm.
those three teams lumped together, I think that this could present some fits for them.
Agreed. I agree. This is definitely
More
going to be.
though, more so Green Bay and Indianapolis though, because Tennessee, I'm kind of iffy on them right now.
Why? So I must ask, if you iffy on Tennessee, why you not iffy on Green Bay? And I mean, yeah, if you want to ask what's the difference between Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Tannehill, that's one thing. But I mean, you talking about two teams that lost their wide receiver ones, two teams who
Mhm.
those quarterbacks both were very relying on. So, what makes you much more confident that Green Bay could pull off a victory against Philadelphia than Tennessee can, if they both in the
I
same
mean,
spot?
you just outlined it. It's Aaron Rodgers, man. As
Mhm.
long as that guy is their quarterback, bro, I hesitate to bet against them unless it's the playoffs.
That's I can feel that.
And
No,
with
yeah.
him, like even last year, didn't Devontae Adams? Didn't he miss a couple games, if I remember correctly?
Yeah, he did
Mhm.
miss some games. I
Yeah,
don't remember if he
they were.
played.
Yeah, they were able to keep the offense afloat. I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers at the
It's
end of the
Aaron
day.
Rodgers.
Yeah,
Exactly. I think you're right. So let me ask you guys. It's a 3-game stretch, right? Indianapolis, Green Bay, Tennessee. What do we come out of that stretch? What do we come out?
2-1.
2-1? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was kind of thinking. But the only thing I keep thinking, man, is that we went through the schedule last year. I think it actually might have been one of our first podcasts, Quell, for P's and Q's.
Oh,
And we
there
just
we go.
we thought that there were so many W's, and even the trap games, we were like, we'll get them. But inevitably we always fall into those trap games. So yeah, I hope we can come out of it 2-1, but I could also see like a 1-2 off of like just some
You
stupid.
gotta remember everything that's going on around you, though, brother. You gotta
Mhm.
remember this is a Jalen Hurts year. This is a well, look, we need you to be what we think you're gonna be if you're gonna
That's
be
true.
our quarterback. So all of that stuff is gonna be getting taken into account around this point, especially around this point in the season where we're starting to get to the nitty gritty, and it could be factored in terms of playoff appearance and all that stuff, where you got to turn it up. So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'm not saying that he is or is not that type of quarterback in terms of Jalen Hurts, but we're getting to the point of the season where Jalen Hurts gonna have to, again, like we said earlier, there are no excuses. You kind of
True.
got to do what you got to do, and we're reaching
Mhm.
that point of the season where you should have as much chemistry as possible with all your guys. I mean, again, these are his guys that he played with before, stuff
Yep.
of that nature. So it's not like you spending all this time creating chemistry and stuff of that nature. But so you should have all your chemistry. Like we should be to the point where we're a competent football team, more than competent football team at this point. To where if we're losing, it's just because we lost to a better football team,
So you're thinking
not
two
because
and
we
one
just lost.
out of that stretch?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
thinking that minimum 2-1, maybe 3-0. Like just looking at it, my personal views on all three of those teams. I personally think how all of them are built right now, the Eagles could beat Indianapolis, Green Bay, and Tennessee. Now, will they beat all three of them? That's a
Yeah.
different story. I mean, of course, it's a
Totally.
whole season, trying to get through the whole grasp of the season, keeping your mind focused, all some of the extra stuff you got to do. Yeah, I don't know. But I do think those are three winnable games, despite how tough the opponents are.
Agreed.
yeah. But
All right.
looking
So
ahead
now,
here to New York and Chicago, last year when the Eagles went up to New York, they struggled a bit offensively. Jalen Hurts, he didn't have his best day, but he still had him in position to win the game. Cough, cough, Jalen Rager. But I don't know. The Giants, I don't know how to feel about them. They're who did they add this offseason? I'm drawing a blank right now.
So, it wasn't really many specific players that they added this offseason, but just to give you a rundown on the Giants in general, I mean, it's understandable why you don't know how you feel about them. Because, like I said when we was talking to Mark, new regime in place. Like, yeah, sure, they got a lot of the same players, but they implementing a new system. And how I like to look at implementing new systems is it take at least 1 year to get it figured out. So,
Yeah.
new system in place, new coaching staff, new regime, all that stuff. Where the Eagles probably should win this game. Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you. Even at this point in the season, the Eagles probably should win this game. At the same time, if everything is going according to plan, to the Giants' plan, you have at this point of the season a lot of players or not even just a lot, but a few players who you've identified as they're going to be contributors on this football team for the foreseeable future, and you letting them get a whole lot of tick, and are those players making impactful plays, type of thing. But in terms of the matchup as a whole, I mean, there is no reason the Eagles, a team who with their second year head coach, with a much improved roster, a roster looking to make a splash in the playoffs, should be worried about a Giants team with a new regime looking to overhaul a roster.
yeah,
Looking to figure out who's going to be there, basically.
agreed. I think with New York, it's everything you mentioned, Quell, and it really just comes down to the Daniel Jones project. This is probably the last year of the
He's gonna
experiment.
flop. He's gonna flop, brother.
Exactly. I mean,
he's
but
not
Why do y'all put this bad magic in the air? Daniel Jones can be decent, y'all.
Stop it.
I'm not saying
please.
he will or
Stop
won't,
it.
but
you love this.
Stop it.
I won't say he will or won't, but he could. He could.
yeah, because he has a much better coaching staff around
Yeah,
him than he
and
did
that's the only thing I
before.
was gonna say. We'll see what Brian Dabble can pull out of him, but I don't think Daniel Jones is gonna turn around quickly and become some star. We'll see if he can be a
Okay, I
serviceable
can
starter.
respect that.
But will he ever be worth his draft slot? Probably not.
I don't think he's talented enough, me personally.
Yeah.
That's
we'll see.
again subjective. Like, watch this. Would you say Alex Smith is worth his draft spot?
To an extent.
Yeah.
But nothing about Alex Smith screams franchise quarterback. He is game
Except
manager.
he was able to take teams
You
to the
can win
playoffs.
with Alex Smith.
So
but you're not gonna win because of Alex Smith.
So you using the Alex Smith comparison. Who would you rather have as your quarterback, Alex Smith or Daniel Jones? You don't got to think, bro. You don't have to think. You don't have to.
have to think. I do have to think because Daniel Jones' skill set precedes a lot more than Alex Smith does. Like Alex Smith, you knew that he just wasn't gonna fuck up, for lack of a better term.
But that's all Daniel Jones does. That's all he does.
Yeah, but that's why it makes it so hit or miss, because knowing that Alex Smith wasn't gonna mess up was more than enough to say, okay, we could take that, and we just know we're not gonna be in the worst case scenario. But then it just takes you back to the whole. So, do you want a quarterback who's gonna risk it and get the biscuit, or do you want a guy that you just know is gonna keep you competent and maybe lose you games later on?
I don't think
I don't know.
Alex Smith is a 3-time Pro Bowler.
Yeah, and you know how long
with the 99 and 67 career record. You're telling me
you know how long it took him to get there? It took him playing with Kansas City to get there. Because if you're talking about Alex Smith with San Francisco, he sucked. He wasn't good. Wasn't even nowhere near good with San Francisco.
Up until 2011.
He had one good year with San Francisco, and then it started to translate over, and then they was like, you know what, we can move him because he's the first overall pick. I'm not going to sit here and say that Alex Smith was a world beater. Alex Smith and Daniel Jones are actually a really good conversation to have, because one is literally I'm not going to take no risk, and the other is I'm going to take risk, but me taking risk will have us out here messed up in the long run. But I can win us some games with my risk, because he done won them games with his risk. He done also lost.
Has he been in the playoffs?
With his risk.
Has he been in the playoffs?
Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
No,
right?
I don't believe so.
No.
And since when?
Wait, he wasn't. And
how long did it take Alex Smith to make the playoffs? I'm pretty sure it was until Jim Harbaugh got hired.
Regardless,
he didn't make the playoffs
Jim
before
Harbaugh.
that. Yeah.
Regardless, my point is that like even if Daniel Jones is risking it, it's not like he's risked it and been rewarded. It's not like he's risking it and making these jaw-dropping plays and winning games.
The whole time with Alex Smith before Jim Harbaugh got there in San Francisco, it's not like that Alex Smith was being safe and being rewarded. He was being safe and sucked. That's why the team sucked. And then he was being safe and had a coach around him that had a competent run game and made teams stop playing you the way they was playing you. And then it made everything around you better. That's my whole thing with Daniel Jones.
Would you rather
if you can get everything around you better, you can be better. And it's one thing you had Odell for all 4 years, but you had Odell for 1 year, and then the rest of that wide receiver core. But he ain't really had, like, the general manager and the owner told you themselves, they haven't done a really good job of setting him up to be successful. Like, they set him up to suck. So if you set him up to suck, he gonna suck. Now, it's one thing if you putting pieces around him and he's just not playing well. That's not what happened with Daniel. He ain't had nobody. He had Saquon, but that's it.
I mean, they signed Kenny Galladay last year. He's one of the biggest free agent signings of the year last year.
How did Kenny Galladay
play
last year?
He sucked.
He flopped.
But he wasn't a bad receiver the year before.
That he flopped. Daniel Jones was not
all I'm
his
saying
fault.
is that it's not like they haven't tried to surround him with any type of talent.
that's
They
my
went and
argument.
signed a big receiver. I mean,
That's my whole argument. So again, it leads me back to the start. Would you say the Eagles did a good job surrounding Carson Wentz? Because I say that all the time. It's not like they didn't try to surround him. They
in
did
2017,
try,
I think we did a good job. But after that, no.
Even in 2017, they didn't do a really good job. They just happened to strike on gold. But they literally did the same thing in 2017 that they did in 2018, in 2019, and all that stuff. Try to strike on veterans that played well.
The decisions made sense. You're getting a receiver coming off of a great year, and then you're getting Torrey Smith, a proven veteran. I mean, those moves made sense. Listen, I'm not saying anything about Daniel Jones.
Coming off a great year. He was coming off a good year. He was just the best available wide receiver one they had to offer.
Okay, fine. The year before that, he was spectacular. It was like in the last 2 years, he was a great receiver. Like he had a great.
So what have you done for me lately, league, and in terms of
absolutely? And then he came in and he dominated. But we swung and we went and signed 2 receivers who were big. I mean, it was 2017 offseason was a success. I think.
I guess my whole thing is sitting there saying, what's the difference between signing Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith and going to get Kenny Galladay and who else did they get? I'm sure they got somebody.
Wandale Robinson.
It wasn't Wandale. It was it was Kadarius.
Kadarius.
Yeah. So what's the difference between going to get Kadarius Toney and
Kenny Galladay.
Kenny Galladay
was significantly older than Alshon was. We signed Alshon to his first contract after his rookie deal. Kenny Galladay's had 2 deals already. Kenny Galladay is a significantly older receiver than Alshon Jeffrey was.
Yeah, sure.
We signed Alshon to grow with Carson.
They both had the same production at the same point in time.
But you're getting a younger guy to come in. You're betting on the upside with the younger guy, with somebody like Kenny Galladay.
How I like to think about it is we got the same end of the bucket that the Giants got. We got 1 to 2 years out of Alshon that were competent before he started to fade off into the black. So yeah, you got the younger guy, but you got limited years.
But we didn't really think that he was going to tear his rotator cuff and play throughout it the entire season. That's why it all shortened. I mean, he couldn't lift his arm at one point after 2017. He played the entire season with the torn rotator cuff, and after that, he wasn't the same. Granted, but the plan was ideally that we're signing this young receiver. He's like 24, and he's going to grow with our young. He's going to grow with our quarterback.
He was definitely not 24.
Alshon?
25.
No, Alshon.
24. Hell no, Alshon was like 27 when we signed him.
Yeah, he was 27.
Yeah, he was older, like much older. So we probably even reaching Kenny Galladay's status at this point with how they signed him. So again, it brings me back to what's the difference between them signing Kenny Galladay and drafting Kadarius Toney?
And then let's see Kenny Galladay. Kenny Galladay is like a year and a half, 2 years older than Alshon was. I don't know.
Older?
The way I see it. Yeah. Than when we signed him.
So it brings me back to
he's older than Alshon. He's older than Alshon. He's been in the league longer.
Worse.
I still think that with Alshon, yeah, okay, I'm not saying that, but I also don't think that Daniel Jones is gonna all of a sudden turn around and have a 2017 Carson Wentz season. At least you would see signs With Daniel
What
Jones,
about
what are these?
2016? Carson Wentz led you to believe that 2017
There
Carson
were
Wentz was going to
games
be
where
there.
you could actually see potential. With Daniel Jones, you've had 2.5 years. I mean, last year you got injured.
And there were
of just
games you saw potential too.
subpar. Okay, but you've had a way longer sample size than you had with Carson. With Carson, you had 1 year. With Daniel Jones, you've had 2.5 years now, and you've seen that he has not improved much. If anything, he's just regressed. And a lot of
The
that fine is
only
because of what they've
difference,
done. It's because they didn't surround him with talent.
yeah,
But I
that
don't
was
think
the
in
only
year
difference.
4, I don't think in year 4, I mean, you can look up the precedents of this. I don't think in year 4, all of a sudden he's going to turn around and be, a good quarterback. I don't really see
I
it.
just think it's, and we can continue after this, but I just think it's easy to say that when it's literally a year after Carson. Carson got the wide receiver help and all that other stuff in year 2. Daniel got it in year 3, year 4. Versus it's easy to say, I don't see you saying you could be this quarterback in those years. Well, we waited until those years to get you the help. I mean, who did you have until then?
Well, okay, you said he had Odell his rookie year. Then he had Sterling Shepard, who's better than some of the receivers
That's hit or
of
miss.
Carson Wentz. I think
That's
that.
hit or
I mean,
miss.
we all wanted Sterling Shepard. They had then who else?
Also
They had?
hit or miss.
I mean, you can say every guy is hit or miss, but he still has had receivers. Carson Wentz for a long time didn't even have
how many people we got on the Eagles right
We were playing with. Okay, right now, but tell me the 2018 roster. I would have taken Sterling Shepard over majority of the guys that Carson took to the playoffs. Or 2019, when was it?
You probably wasn't
Sterling
taking
Shepard was better than most of those guys.
over. You probably wasn't taking Sterling Shepard over Alshon Jeffrey. After Alshon Jeffrey, maybe.
Alshon didn't play. He barely played in 2019, dude. He barely played. He wasn't playing. He was missing games. And then who else did we have?
But when he was healthy and playing, if you had a healthy and playing
how many games did Alshon play in 2019?
You weren't going to take him. I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying off of that. But if you had a healthy and playing Alshon, you wasn't going to take him over Sterling Shepard. That's just common knowledge. Sterling Shepard is a slot receiver.
Okay.
We were talking about one receiver. I'm just saying that I think the Giants also had other guys. Daniel Jones, it's not like he's just been given nobody. They have tried. Finally, they do a great job. But Daniel Jones, you also have to accept at one point, maybe he's just not that freaking good.
You're right.
Maybe he's just bad. And they wasted a draft pick. I mean, there's a reason they're not extending him. They didn't want to take his 5th-year option. But yeah, moving on.
Okay, moving on. Before we keep snowballing. Chicago. Jalen Hurts versus Justin Fields. Matt Eberflus rookie year, he'd be well entrenched in his rookie year by now.
Nick Sirianni.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, good point.
I did not think about that.
Two former coordinators of the Colts. Going
it's a nice storyline.
I think it's us, man. I mean, for the reasons we outlined,
it's clearly us.
Bears failed.
I want to say it's like you said, Pierre. It's clearly us, but it's not clearly us off the strength. It's just the direction we're headed, and it's just the direction that the league is headed. The Bears made a decision to go with the defensive side of the ball, versus we made a decision to go with the offensive side of the ball. Yeah. And I mean, I just don't think the Bears have enough on offense to beat us.
No,
they could stop us all we want, but I think we can score at least one touchdown before they do.
They're in the same position that not the same position, but like what we were kind of feeling last year, where like our offense is
Smith.
Yeah, without Devontae Smith, like your offense feels one dimensional, and like you're just hoping that the defense like can stop them, and then you can get like a point or two in there and just keep the lead like that. But you're not going to win games like that, especially late in the season. Like that's just it's not going to happen. And
I like what they were able to do on defense with the selections of Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker, but it's just like you guys said, it's just not enough. Like you're gonna need some guys for your team to throw the ball, for your quarterback to throw the ball to.
Exactly. And I mean, like I said when we was talking to Mark, like I like what they did defensively. I mean, you hire Matt Eberflus, you hire the defensive coach. You want to get that defensive coach some defensive players so they can be competent. You don't want to have him assed out. At the same time, I mean, you got him all his defensive players, and now your quarterback looking around like, so what am I supposed to do? I mean, he done lost his number one receiver. He got Darnell Mooney, but if you're going to sit here and think that Darnell Mooney going to be a number one receiver for you for 17 games, I'm sorry to break the news to you, but that's just not going to work.
And by himself.
I can hold on. I can phrase it better. If you think Darnell Mooney is going to be a number one receiver, I have beachfront property to sell you in Idaho.
Yeah, what you said. Yeah. Please, I can use the money if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Basically, that's not gonna work.
No,
And
not at all.
even if Mooney could be a number one, if Justin Fields isn't gonna have time to throw the damn ball,
Mm-mm.
he's
But
not gonna
see,
be able
that's
to
the
do
thing.
anything.
I'm not even really worried about that. I'm more so worried about him who he's throwing the ball to than throwing the ball. Because even as you said when we talked to Mark about them ain't going to address tackle help. I mean, you talking about Tevin Jenkins heading into a second year. They got tackles. They all right. You talking about Cody Whitehair sitting in the middle of your defense. You got a center. You all right. Like they have a competent offensive line. Offensive line that you willing to go to war with every Sunday? No, I ain't gonna take it that far. But competent nonetheless. But he has no one to throw the ball to, bro. Like no one. Unless you're gonna sit here and say Darnell Mooney is a wide receiver one. And I love Darnell Mooney. I love Darnell Mooney, the prospect. He's not a wide receiver one, bro. He was a deep
Not
threat.
right now.
He will never be a wide receiver one. He's a deep threat. He added a whole lot of other stuff to his game where it's exciting to see, but you will never see wide receiver one Darnell Mooney. He will be a high end wide receiver two, low end wide receiver one, but not one of them guys that you like. I'm paying him wide receiver one money because I know he put my team over the top. No, I just don't see it.
I don't know. I think that's really not solid, like set in stone. I don't know. I think Mooney showed a lot last year.
He
I
showed a
definitely
lot,
I
but
think he
it's
definitely
easy
needs
to
more
show a lot
support.
when you the only guy. That's my whole thing about Bradley Beal with the Wizards. It's easy to sit here and be as great as you are when you're the only person getting the ball. Ain't nobody else to do nothing. Yeah, sure they got
I
Cole
get that,
Kmet,
but you
it's
also
just
you also grow into roles in that way. I mean, that's how some guys get made. I mean, James Harden went there and he was the only guy to handle the ball, and then he became one of the greatest shooting guards of all time. Because I mean,
That
sometimes
is
you grow into these roles.
subjective.
I'm not saying
Again,
everybody does that, and it's
Please,
obviously extremely rare, huh?
please don't evoke the name of James Harden.
I'm about to
I
say that
understand.
is subjective
Listen,
because I wish somebody would say James Harden and Dwayne Wade in the same sentence right now. That just ain't it. James
All right,
Harden might be good, but no.
we're not gonna talk about the basketball team in Philadelphia who shall not be mentioned. Diving next
Harden was
into
injured. All right, last
the
thing.
second.
He's injured. He's injured. It's a hammy. It's a hammy. All right,
Yeah, I hope so.
so let me have
But
it. Stop.
following
At
that 3-game
Dallas.
road trip, we going to Dallas.
Christmas
Oh,
Eve.
that is part of the great 3-game road trip. Dallas and Christmas Eve. How y'all feeling? Y'all feeling y'all wishing to spend y'all Christmas wishing Cowboy hate?
brother. If the Dallas Cowboys beat the Eagles on Christmas Eve, 4:25 America's game, Fox national TV schedule.
Listen, don't say no more. Don't you dare say another word after you just said all of what you just said, because if any of that shit happened, Christmas is canceled.
It's canceled. And especially for me, because I've talked about it. You guys know this. My mother is a Dallas Cowboys fan.
Oh, cut it.
Being in that house with her,
Cut it.
if the
You might as
unthinkable
well dip
happens,
out right now, bro. Go
if the
ahead and see
unthinkable
what everybody
happens,
else doing.
if the unthinkable happens, I would not be a very happy man.
I got family members that are Cowboys fans. I've been the one that had to suck it up and take a picture in a Cowboys jersey before because I'd have made the bet
Never that.
Carson Wentz. Look, I was so confident that in my team that they can get a victory. I made the bet that Carson Wentz would beat the Cowboys. And what happened? Carson Wentz laid a damn egg.
Don't bet on Carson.
Here like, okay, let's put the jersey on. Here I am with Emmitt Smith jersey. Looking,
hey, at least it's a Gator.
What Kevin Sam you say? Hey, I'm 5'8". I'm built like a running back. I'm built like Emmitt Smith. So, I guess. Whatever. But...
He said you can hit the egg out.
Listen, man. Well, I would have told you not to bet on Carson.
Look, I wish you would have told me that 3 years ago. I wouldn't have. Yeah, I'm sitting here like, y'all not going to beat us. Cowboys can't beat the Eagles. And what the Cowboys do? Have me taking pictures in Cowboys shirts.
Beat the brakes off the Eagles. God. I mean, I think we're going to split it, I think. I mean,
No, we're not even going to split. The Cowboys have nothing coming. Why? Because the first game against Dallas is in Philly. That's the problem.
In prime time.
All right.
That's the problem. We
All
can
right,
go to
about it.
Dallas and lay an egg.
I like the hope.
But Dallas will never come to Philly and teach us a lesson. Not never. Never.
No, I don't think they come and teach us a lesson. No way.
I mean, they did it. They did it in Carson's last year in Philly.
Who?
Carson's
Carson
last
Wentz.
year in Philly.
Your boy.
Who?
Your boy.
Your guy.
That's your man's.
Look, that's
When
not
Carson
my guy.
inevitably
I got a
fails, Quell,
fiance that
I'm
love
gonna be
Carson Wentz.
tagging you on Twitter.
Look,
Oh my god.
That's not my guy. I got a
No.
fiance.
He's the major guy.
Is whoever
He's
is
officially
my
your guy, bro.
My guy is whoever is the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles. It could be Jesus Christ himself, and that's my guy. I don't care who it is. But if once you get out of
Wait. Were you a Sam Bradford guy?
Look, man, I was walking around the house with my sleeves down right here. Let's go. Sammy Sleeves is the guy. I ain't care who you were. If you was my quarterback, we was rolling. The only person I drew the line there was AJ Feely.
Yo, oh my god. All right.
That's
You gotta stop with these, man.
That's it.
But with Sam Bradford, I could never. He took that Heisman from Tim. I could never. I was never bad.
Sam was nice though. Sam was nice
I was
though.
about to say.
You give him some time in the pocket. Sam was nice with it.
I don't know about you, but I watched Sam Bradford play against the Packers, and I sat there like, yo, we going to the fucking Super Bowl. So I was like, my heart was broken.
He just looks so unathletic, man. I hated seeing him in the pocket.
Broken. We traded Sam Bradford? What?
That boy Slick. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. He Slick had a rocket on him for real.
His arm. You know what? He gives me Carson Strong now. Now I'm thinking about it. He's giving me Sam Bradford vibes. He's not gonna be able to move, but he's just gonna be slinging.
Exactly. That's exactly who he is. That is who he is. I was about to say, my little brother will tell you right now. My brother will tell you, yeah, bro. Quell used to watch so much Oklahoma national championship film. I'm like, Sam Bradford ain't good, bro. Why you keep watching? It's not gonna make him no better than he is. And I'm like, shut up! I'm trying to figure out what he can do.
Don't talk to me about that awful nonsense game. The game doesn't count. Okay, that year was
that
omitted from history.
Y'all. Wasn't y'all? Huh? It's all right.
Omitted. There we go. I'm talking about. There you go. Now all is good in the universe. But yeah, all right. So we're sweeping Dallas, and then now we got the Philly Blitz game, the New Orleans game.
The supposed Philly Blitz game. That's what we're gonna do, man. That's what
the preliminary.
The
preliminary.
We're gonna have to have this discussion once we look at schedule. I mean, ticket prices and all that other stuff. But that's what it's looking like right now. The game that Parth and Quell went to and got a victory last year, so we should turn it into the TPB game. But
what do we think?
I don't see no reason. Honestly, I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, bro. The Eagles should finish 12-5, 11-6.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
there is no reason. Like looking at the schedule as a whole, this is the best schedule I've seen for us in a long time.
Seriously,
because the last couple of years I've been looking at the schedule like, bro, how are we gonna win those games?
It's not like this.
It's ideal.
Yeah, it's not like there's like too many like long, super hard stretches, or it's like last year where we start off super hard. It's just well balanced, you know. Like we're gonna be able to keep building on things. Like with the issue with last year is we started off the season, Atlanta's easy, and then all of a sudden we have this murderer's row of games, and then we end the season
like on an ideal
teams
in an ideal life. The Birds heading to week 11. What's that? 9-2, or 8-2, 7-3. Ideally, just heading into week 11.
Yeah.
Like I don't see any way it should be any less than that.
Yeah, we kind of get to ramp our way up too, which is nice.
Of course, assuming the team stays healthy.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So all right. So New Orleans. What are we thinking? Is that a victory?
Did they beat them last year?
They did. Okay. Hold on. They did, but this is not the same New Orleans Saints team, man.
Mm-hmm.
They just signed Jarvis Landry today. They added Chris Olave. Okay. Michael Thomas is going to be back. Jameis Winston is going to be there. Tyrann Mathieu is there. Marcus May is there. Did Marshawn Lattimore play last year in the game? I can't remember.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They got Marcus May and Chauncey. They got my Gator boys, man. That hurts.
This is gonna be a very competitive game.
This is all I look at it like. on the real. And yeah, I hear everything you said, Pierre, and everything you said is correct. But did Marshawn Lattimore play last game? I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care. You know why? Because is Marshawn
He did actually,
Lattimore
because
gonna
remember
stop them?
Devontae made him mad, and then he was throwing him after. Like
You're
there
right.
was like
You're
that
right.
one
Yeah,
play
yeah, yeah,
where he
I
used the
forgot about
momentum.
that.
But
But either way,
Devontae was
whether he
cooking him.
played or not, I don't care. You know why? Because the Saints did not one move, not one thing to stop the Eagles from gaining 246 rushing yards on the ground. So why should I feel bad about a team that didn't do anything to change us running the ball with the same offensive line? I must add, the same offensive line, same running back, same team,
2 years in a
particularly on
row.
both sides. Why should I feel like it's going to end up any different?
This
And
is
I feel like that's
New
going to
Orleans
be the
is the
start
Jalen
of the
Hurts game.
finish right there. I feel like the start of finish is going to be right there. And I feel like that's going to be the thing that puts Philadelphia over the top of a lot of teams. It was one thing when teams got the blueprint towards the end of the year. Like when they watched the Tampa game or some of them other games where it was, well, to hell with everything. We about to load the box and make Jalen Hurts beat us. And if he beat us, then we lost. Fuck it. We lost. But you can't do that now. Because we can beat you through the air.
Mm-hmm.
And we can beat you on the ground. There is literally nothing you can do with this Philadelphia offense. You have to play defense and get stops. So if New Orleans wants to go out there on a limb and say, you're not going to run the ball for 246 yards on us. Okay, if you want to take Marshawn Lattimore one-on-one against A.J. Brown all day long, then by all means, go do that. I'm not saying who or who not going to win, but by all means, if I'm an Eagles fan, I like that. Go do that. I'll take that all day long. If you want to double cover Marshawn, if you want to send Marcus Epps and you want to have Tyrann Mathieu bracket across the middle of the field or play quarterback spy on Jalen Hurts and all that other stuff, by all means, go ahead and do that. Because we would just run the ball. And every time we run the ball, you're not going to have enough people in the box to stop us from running the ball. So we're going to keep running the ball. So how I feel like about this Saints game is I just don't think the Saints are built well enough to stop the Eagles. They got good players. They're a good team. I just don't think they're built to stop the Eagles, nonetheless.
Their defensive philosophy hasn't changed. I mean, their DC in the last 2 years is their head coach now. So if anything, it's more embedded in the team.
That's just how I feel.
That's a great point.
I feel like it's going to come down to philosophies and how the Eagles are built right now. Okay, well, what do you want us to do? Let's roll. Especially if they prove along the season that we can be a pass first team. Because the moment the Eagles prove they can be a pass first team, there is nothing none of these defenses can do with Philadelphia. Because they literally have the same team in place. So if they showed you before that we can run the ball for over 200 yards a game, what's the difference if you're not going to stack the box?
Yeah.
So that's all it comes down to in my eyes.
Agreed.
And then finally, the Eagles close out the season in Philadelphia at home versus the New York Giants. We do not know if this game will be prime time. We don't know what network is going to be on. But
we don't know anything but the fact that the Giants going to lose.
Anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I could see New York maybe winning is if we play all of
our starters.
Yeah. If we have, a spot clinched at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on like you said, it depends on what everything look like. I can see this being a 1:00 game. I also can see this being a Sunday night football game. So it depends what everything looks like at that measure. And honestly, quite frankly, like we said in the conversation with Mark that I hope you guys checked out, and like we said during here, all this entire season as a whole will come down to what improvements or non-improvements has Jalen Hurts made as a passer. Yeah. Because if Jalen Hurts can make a stride as a passer, this is a completely different Eagles football season. Yeah. Because, like I just said about the Saints, how do you go about stopping them? It's one thing when you talk about stopping the Ravens and you say, take away the run game and make Lamar beat me. And if Lamar beat me, I'm okay with that. I mean, he might not can, but I'm okay with that. It's one thing we're looking at a Buccaneers game where you say, take away the passing game and make Tom Brady beat me. I mean, make Leonard Fournette beat me. And if he beats me, I'm okay with that. If he don't, well, whatever. But with this Eagles team, how it's set up right now, if everything goes according to plan, there is no how can you beat me. It's how do you want to play football today? Which, like Mark said, is not a lot of sleep for defensive coordinators to get. So if the team is built like that, then I can see the Giants winning this game because the Eagles won't need them. But I don't know, man. It all depends on the Jalen Hurts talk from here.
Yep.
So essentially, what you guys are saying is 2022 will be the Jalen Hurts MVP year, right?
Yes.
That's
Basically,
what we're saying.
I done said it before, and I will say it continuously. Jalen Hurts, the Philadelphia Eagles will go as far as Jalen Hurts allows them to go, and that's so hit or miss to say because Jalen Hurts can play a 10-6 football team to play a 10-6 season, and Jalen Hurts has an argument for MVP in the league with how good he was playing. Or Jalen Hurts can play a 10-6 football season, and I mean,
it can look like last year.
Won. Yeah, I'm about to say the Eagles won, but it was in spite of Hurts, not because of Hurts. So, I mean, the Philadelphia Eagles have literally left themselves in a perfect position right now where our season is going to come down to how good or bad Jalen Hurts is, but the trajectory of our team in the future will not come down to that. We just need to see how good you are or can be, basically.
Here's what's happening, man. Jalen, MVP type season, but he's heartbreakingly not going to get it. He's going to finish like second or third in voting because then we're going to the Super Bowl and we're winning it. You can't win the Super Bowl and the MVP in the same year, so he'll give up the MVP for the ring, and then we'll get the MVP later. Worry about those things, but we're trying to get the ring.
I ain't gonna hold you, brother. I ain't gonna hold you, and please don't hate me, you nor none of the other Eagles fans, but because we can't have nice things in Philadelphia, this is exactly how it's gonna happen. Jalen Hurts is gonna play 8 games, exactly 8 games this season. Will you say
relax?
That is a great quarterback. A great quarterback. That quarterback needs to be built around. Jalen Hurts is
about to log
play
off,
8
bro.
more games.
Stop
where
it.
It's
Stop
like,
it.
Well, I'm
Stop
glad
it.
we won, but what is this?
I'm out.
And we're gonna be sitting here.
I'm done with this, man, bro. All right, we need to end this.
No
more snowballing. No more snowballing.
No, for real, bro. I'm telling you, this is exactly how it's gonna go because the universe hates us, bro. We're gonna be sitting here at the end of the year like.
No. We
So
just
what
had
do
to
we
watch a collapse for the second year in a row in the second.
Not doing this. We're not doing it. We're not doing it.
We will be rewarded in the football season. I need to believe
Brother,
this, bro.
I'm telling you this right now, and I'm sorry. I love my Eagles. I hope we win the Super Bowl. I'm a bet on us to win the Super Bowl after we get off this. At the same breath of saying that, I'm telling you this right now, bro. We're gonna play. Jalen Hurts is gonna play a spectacular season. We're gonna play a spectacular season, and the season is gonna end with us looking like. So is Jalen Hurts our franchise quarterback or not? Because that's just our luck. Because he's gonna play great all year long, and then the playoff game against somebody, maybe in the third round, the NFC Championship game, it's gonna be. We lost this game because Jalen Hurts wasn't good as a passer.
Listen, I apologize to all the fans.
Happens, bro.
I apologize for Quell. He's got PTSD for many years as an Eagles fan. Just, accept my brother's issues here and transgressions. We will.
I'm telling you, bro. And
you're gonna listen, Quell. All I'm saying is when we win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna need a notes app apology from you on Twitter.
Hey, bro. If we win the Super Bowl, I will write my apology on Microsoft Word and 22-inch wording so everybody can see it. But just in general, my knowledge of the Eagles and my knowledge of the game, bro, that's exactly how it's going to go. It's going to come down to a situation where us three, can make the argument that Jalen Hurts ain't the reason we lost that game. And based on the season he played this year, y'all ain't got no reason to blame Jalen Hurts for anything. But by the way the season's going to end, we're going to be stuck in the same spot, just like the damn Sixers, because we can't have nice things. And we're going to be trying to figure out why.
You're talking about manifesting good things. Look at what you're manifesting, bro. We manifest good things on this podcast, okay? Eagles chip, Sixers chip next year. Harden is injured. Cut it. This was supposed to be in a 20-minute to 30-minute podcast.
We've gone well over that.
We went an hour over that.
We are approaching
an
hour.
As you can see, this is an Eagles podcast. We love you, Joel Embiid. We love you sometimes, James Harden.
Sometimes.
But this is the Eagles podcast, and
Yeah.
Oh wait, also
20
wait.
minute discussions turned into an hour 30.
Before we move on, I know I said I didn't want to talk about the Sixers, but I just have this little thing to say.
Bro, you're not
Last
gonna
night-
say this on the podcast. You're not gonna say this on the podcast because I don't agree with your take, and I don't think anyone agrees with your take. This is not Joel Embiid.
Bro, no, bro, I'm not. Listen. I don't know. People took it the wrong way. I'm not blaming Joel. I'm not saying it's his fault, but at some point, we got to have that conversation. We have to look at that
all
aspect
I hear is
of
a
it.
hater, man. All I hear is a hater.
I'm
just saying.
If
Man
you
had a
change
broken
Joel
face,
Embiid-
came over
I'm
a
just saying.
concussion, broken
Oh,
thumb.
Hey.
You
Hey.
change
Nothing
Joel
was his
Embiid,
fault this offseason.
change Joel Embiid to Peyton Manning, and all I hear is the Colts are good, but what if Peyton Manning's not good enough? And we know damn well Peyton Manning was good enough to win the Super Bowl. He just had terrible circumstances.
Hey,
And that's what's
I'm
going
not-
on right here.
I'm not saying.
circumstances.
Listen. I'm not saying to trade the guy or anything like that. But it's just something to ponder.
Keep your conversation, brother. Keep your conversation.
Just something to ponder.
I'm never
Just
having
saying.
it. Joel
just him saying it though. Him saying it though. I mean, it deserves some recollection. What
I
if
feel like
that
we've been
is the
having this
case?
conversation
And again,
forever, though.
it's not Joel's fault. And like I said when he sent the message to the chat, it's not Joel's fault. Joel needs insert amount around him. And I mean, does that say something about Joel? Or does that say something about the team? I don't know.
I think it says something about Doc Rivers.
No, it says something about both because you
two-
don't have
Alright,
to worry.
alright.
You didn't have to worry
All
about
right.
that with LeBron.
All right. We're not gonna jump into it.
Last
We're not
thing,
gonna
last
jump into
thing.
it.
James Harden had less points than Ben Simmons in the last fourth quarters. Like, what are we doing here, man? Like, James, wake up, dog.
All I'm saying is, y'all, please watch the podcast.
We'll
Because
watch
if you
Showfield?
look
Yes.
at no, don't say that.
Which one?
Watch the podcast because if you watch online, you're gonna see me saying James Harden. So watch the podcast.
But
So
make sure
from
you like
there-
it too.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. But James Harden,
This is for
this
James.
is for you. This is for you. like,
Yo.
like what? What is this?
All right.
We should
All right,
probably close
everybody.
this.
Yeah, that's gonna do it for this edition of TPB TV. I appreciate you for joining. Be sure to subscribe, like the video. Visit
that track,
phillyblitz.com. Visit the phillyblitz.com for all our written analysis, and that'll do it.
Hold on,
Go
wait. Drop
Birds.
the track, Parth. Nope.
Huh?
Drop the trap. Drop the trap.
Oh yeah, make sure everybody listens to the podcast. Listen to it on your mom's phone, listen to it on your sister's phone, listen to it on your dad's phone, listen to it on your grandma's phone, listen to it on your grandpa's phone, and then subscribe, unsubscribe, like it. Do not unlike it. Give us 5 stars, comment, and as always, follow us on Twitter. But we really appreciate you guys.
Nah, folks, unlike it if you believe that James Harden is the reason we lost this series. You can unlike it then. Unlike it then like it back. But let us know. Go
Let us know.
Birds, baby.
Go Birds.